truly, 20 years from now, when you're looking back at your memories of, trips and family gatherings and whatnot, like, are you going to be like, man, I wish there wasn't fringing on the corner of this picture over here?
Thank you for joining me today, Kendra. It's really nice of you to come along to the first podcast series. I thought we should start off by getting to know you a bit more so my audience can get to know you and other people can as well. So can you tell me a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and maybe how long you've been doing photography?
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much for having me. So, hi everyone. My name is Kendra. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, and I've been in photography for about 10 years now.
How would you describe your photography style, or like what you like taking photos of? What's your niche, would you say?
I'd say my niche is more like street photography or travel photography, just little bits of daily life.
And is that how you got into photography, or like when did you get your like first camera or that sort of hook and love of photography?
I first got into photography in high school actually because of photo class. So I'm not sure if you guys have this in the UK, but we have elective
don't.
classes.
Okay.
So we have elective classes in high school, and so I chose photography, and our school was really unique in the sense that it was the last school in our district to have film photography as part of the
Okay.
program. So I learned photography like the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, the proper way.
Yeah. And so we learned how to do, how to develop, how to print like our photos. And so I think that whole process got me really interested. And I know it kind of annoyed other folks. And so that's how I kind of knew that, like, oh, I was actually really into photography because
Yeah.
I found that the boring part really interesting.
That's
Yeah.
cool though. Yeah, I mean, I remember my dad having a film camera and getting it developed, but yeah, I'm definitely not of the age where I think it was, I mean, even you're not of the age where it was a common thing really.
You're calling me old?
You're only slightly older than me, so I think, but no, that's I mean, that's a really cool way of getting into it. I wish we'd have had something like that at school. There was kind of photography lessons, but it was definitely not something you could sort of take and get to know and develop. So that's I'm definitely not jealous that was something you got to do. Was there a moment, person, or experience that inspired you to start photography? Like what made you take that class or want to pursue it further after you'd finished?
I definitely say my dad inspired me to want to take photography classes because growing up, he was the parent with the DSLR.
Okay.
And so, like, growing up, always seeing him with his camera, manually adjusting it and taking pictures for the family, like, yeah.
It gets you into, it's not like nowadays, I suppose, where everyone's got a smartphone. It's a bit more of a disconnect.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I had the same. My dad had a Sony camera, black and white film, and I think it sticks with you. It's more personal, maybe, but yeah, no, that's really cool. So, did you know that it was always going to be a hobby for you, or have you ever wanted to take it further and become more serious or more professional, or how does it sort of now feed into your day-to-day life and your career?
Yeah, so actually in high school, I fully intended on going to college and pursuing like a career in photography.
Okay.
But in high school, when I was getting into photography, I kind of got into both photo and video.
Right.
And so I was always interested in both at the same time.
Got ya.
And so through college, I kind of ended up with more opportunities to pursue video and somehow fell into video now professionally, but I still pursue photography as my hobby on the side.
Got you. So video is now your professional career. Do you wish that photography, I mean, it still obviously could become a full-time career for you, or is that something you kind of just put aside and thought that will always be a hobby?
I think it'll always be a hobby. Like, after being a videographer for a few years now, I do realize that, like, it's nice to pursue your passion, but then now that it's become my everyday work thing, it's not something that I love to do much outside of work anymore, which is why sometimes you'll see me take huge gaps in posting videos because I'm just kind of burnt out from making videos all the time.
Yeah. So what type of content on your YouTube channel do you like to do? I know you haven't posted for a little while, but this obviously hopefully will inspire you to get posting again. But what type of content do you like to do around cameras and photography?
I mostly enjoy just posting videos where I show off my photography because I find that to be the most simple to make out of photos that I already have.
So obviously we talk a lot about photography and the process and the cameras and the gear that we like to use, but have you got one particular photo that you love that's your favorite? It doesn't have to be your best photo, but one you love the most, and is there a reason why you might like it?
So this is my favorite photo. This was taken in Taiwan, actually, in my mom's hometown. And this photo is really special to me for a sentimental reason because this is on a mountain that my grandfather told me that his father used to take him up to go look out over the city at. And so he took my brother and I that one trip that we were there to visit them to go see it. And I just really like this photo because I found a frame within a frame, and I really liked the way, what would you call this? The entryway?
Yeah.
Kind of like
The
frames
doorway, yeah.
the other, this thing, you know?
Yes. Does that thing have a name? Do we know what the name of it is?
I don't know. Temple parts. I don't know, but you
We
know what
can-
I'm talking about.
Yes, definitely. No, it's
But I liked the frame
really
within a
cool.
frame, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, that's really
This
cool.
was taken on the X100V, and that was my first like trip with the camera. So I was really finding out, you know, the limits of the camera, and I thought it was pretty good for like a semi-backlit photo, or like, you know, the shadows down here. I was able to recover those pretty well. And yeah.
Definitely. So do you shoot, was this with a film simulation? Was this like just a JPEG straight out of camera, or did you edit this at all?
This was edited.
Ooh.
Yeah. I preached straight out of camera, but here I am editing all my Fuji.
No, I think it's good. I see a lot of people using like JPEG plus RAW to, you know, so you've got your film simulations and they're like more of like a reference point for what you think might look good, and then obviously you can edit because the RAW file has got more data, isn't it? So you can, like you said, recover highlights and shadows and things like that better. So, but which I think really worked with this photo because you wouldn't know that you've edited it. It looks like it's straight out of camera.
Honestly, I think straight out of camera is like the best use case for it is when family and friends really want your photo that you took on your nice camera immediately. You know what I mean?
Yes,
You could
definitely.
just drop it to your phone.
Yeah, no,
But
it
yeah.
is. Or if you're just lazy like me and you just do a bit of cropping and that's it.
I mean, it works for like genuinely 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But no, that photo is really, really good. I'm very jealous.
thank you.
So is there any other photos that you like from this trip, or other photos that you like for different reasons?
Yeah, so this next picture is also in Taiwan. This is that same trip. And this is a photo of my brother who's all strapped up. But yeah, he's taking a photo. I'm taking a photo of him taking a photo. Once again, I have found a frame in a frame.
Yep.
That was kind of the theme of that trip. I love finding interesting composition.
Yeah. Is that would you say that's like a style of yours that you like to get that? It's almost your perspective of what you're taking a photo of is how you're framing it.
Yeah. Also, I feel like I really like the challenge of having a fixed lens, like on the X100V, because it forces you to move your feet
Yes.
and find the frame. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. That's been
I
a
just like this
challenge of mine.
But it's fun, right? Like it spices it up because I feel like for so long I've been shooting with like zoom lenses and relying on that too much. I just stand there and I just pivot and I zoom in and out,
Yeah, definitely.
call it a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one I really like because I feel like it tells a story.
Yeah.
You can kind of gather the sense of like a busy Chinatown because people are kind of watching the lion dance. and this lady is trying to locate somebody
Yeah.
and tell them that she's here.
Yeah.
And the like foreground, I like having a little bit of like the costumes there to kind of paint the picture more of what's going on.
Yeah. It almost
Yeah, I just
looks
liked this.
like, obviously this is my first time seeing these photos, but it almost looks like movie-like. And like you said, the costumes, that's really cool because it gives you that perspective. And then I think it's really cool, actually, the woman. I hope she obviously found whoever she was looking for. But I think that's because it just makes it feel real. And I think it also asks a lot of questions, which I think in photography we should be trying to do is present a photo and people should be asking why, you know. Which is, I think this photo does really nicely, is asks a lot of questions.
But yeah, I thought this picture was cool. This was a photo of my boyfriend. We were with a bunch of friends at the sand dunes. And I don't know, I just thought it was interesting to kind of see. You could see the ocean in the background. You could see the other part of the land back here.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really feel like, I don't know, it feels like a desert kind of.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it should be as close as it is because it's so deep that it feels like the ocean shouldn't be as close.
But yeah, I was trying to get a picture of him fully covering up the sun with a little bit of glow, but like kind of missed that. And I guess this is an example of like where Fuji isn't as quick, I guess, because I thought I got it, you know, and then the moment already passed.
Definitely.
But I still like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a downside, isn't there, to having all those tactile buttons, is you're never going to be probably as quick. But again, I think what's nice about it is it asks a lot of questions. Obviously, we don't know who it is. I mean, we do now, but we don't know who it is. We don't know where they've come from, where they're going, what they're doing, why are they there. So I think again, it asks a lot of questions which are valuable.
And then this picture I thought was just really cool. This was taken in Thailand, and we were walking through this open market. And after rows and rows of just like clothing and fruits and foods, there was just this shrine right in the middle.
Yeah.
And I thought it was neat how there was like a cutout in the overhang and the light was hitting it perfectly, that it gave it a glow, which is fitting for like a shrine, you know?
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
thought that was really cool.
It definitely emphasises the shrine itself, and I think you're lucky that there isn't really too much going on in your sort of right in front of you. It's the shrine's right in the frame. No, I'm super jealous. That's a very pretty photo.
Thanks. And then this one is also from Thailand. This was during like a food festival. And I just thought I caught a cool moment of a guy checking out some of the food.
Yeah.
It's just pretty fun to look at. That's all. Leading lines.
Yeah. It's those like live shots, isn't it? I always do my best when I go through a market to try and get shots like this. And I feel like that's when a zoom lens would be really nice to get those tight shots.
Right.
You know, but they are cool shots to try and get of people just doing their day-to-day business.
Yeah. Because I'm also not the type of person to like really want to shove my camera in anyone's faces.
No, I'm the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like I know there's like a hot debate online about that.
Yeah, but
where
do you
people
think
love to...
do you think that's where like the Fujifilm cameras are better because they maybe don't look professional, they look a bit retro, they look a bit cool, so maybe people are a bit more open, where if you had your big Sony camera with your big 200mm lens, people would be put off a bit.
Yeah, totally. I feel like people definitely don't look at me twice. Whereas when I take out my like mirrorless camera, everyone's always casting a little glance over just to see like, oh, wonder what she's doing.
Yeah, so you feel a bit more discreet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
good.
feel like, yeah, just safer in general.
Yeah, that's true. I think people pay less attention. So you've shown us some of your favourite photos, so thank you very much. We've spoken about the process, how you like to shoot, what you shoot with, but is there a photo that's stuck with you, or it's just a fun memory? Like I said, it doesn't have to be your best photo, but just one that sticks with you whenever you start thinking about the photos that you've taken.
Yeah, so this photo right here of a bunch of cows on a hill really sticks with me because this was one of the first times where I experienced like the feeling of capturing a moment that can't be replicated necessarily. And so in high school, this photo was taken 10 years ago. So in high school, my teacher was telling our entire class that we're going to enter into this photo competition. And so he's like, oh, everybody needs to have a photo by next week to submit. And so I went with a bunch of my friends up to this trail to go have a photo shoot, as you do when you're 15 with your friends and you have a camera. And so we went up there, took photos, and on our way down, we just start hearing cowbells. So we look over and we see this line of cows coming across as the sun was going down. So I just started snapping photos, and it's funny to me because I went up there with the intention of submitting a picture from that photo shoot with my friends as part of the competition, but ended up with this one. Really liked this one, submitted it, and I won second place in the school district. So that was really cool. Yeah. Shout out cows.
That's cool. What can you remember what photo you lost to, or what photo could possibly beat out this masterpiece?
No idea. It was too long ago.
It can't have been that good and that memorable then if you can't remember it.
Yeah, so. The photos suck. I can't believe I lost. Really cool photo. People stupid. Just kidding.
People are stupid. Yeah, that photo definitely should have won. Do you feel like in your photography journey, or since you've been taking photos, there's been a particular challenge or things that you've had to overcome, or where you've thought I need to get better, or just where you've ever had any issues related to photography, or has it just been you've always just taken amazing photos?
I've never had like any particular issue arise in photography. I feel like I've learned it step by step, kind of just like everybody else does. And you kind of just have to practice. You have to take bad photos in the past to have been able to get to where you are now and take good ones. But I'll definitely say that like one thing I wish I'd known when I was starting out is to not think about the gear too much. I know that's like super cliche. Gear doesn't matter. It does to a point, but then I'd say especially right now in 2025, it's never been better to be like a beginner photographer on a budget, because there's just so many options from third-party companies that sell really great like autofocus lenses for like less than $200.
Yeah, it is. I think it definitely is a good time to be a photographer, and if you're just starting out, and like you said, it doesn't matter about the gear. I think it matters probably what your primary setup is, because I think it's more the relationship you have with it. Obviously, it's an inanimate object, but if you like taking photos with it, you're more likely to take it with you, shoot more photos with it, where if you don't like using it or it's cumbersome, you're not going to really enjoy it as much, I suppose.
Right. Also, I feel like sometimes people get too caught up in the pixel peeping. Everybody's talking about chromatic aberration and this and that, and it's just like, truly, 20 years from now, when you're looking back at your memories of, trips and family gatherings and whatnot, like, are you going to be like, man, I wish there wasn't fringing on the corner of this picture over here?
I will agree. I will totally agree. I've got a 50mm adapter for my X106, and the number one thing people talk about is the fact that it's not complete, because you're screwing on an additional zoom lens, and essentially it's not completely like flat. You get a bit of like sort of bowing. Does it matter? No, not in the slightest. It's just adds to the camera and adds, it's just a cool thing to have. Like you said, I don't think all this stuff really matters, and you can fix it anyway in editing and software, or if you store the photos, if you're really that bothered. So, but yeah, in the moment, probably not.
Yeah, what matters is getting out there and taking the photo.
It is, and taking lots of bad ones. That's why my hard drive is just filled with awful photos that no one shows.
Same.
Yep. That's why I've got a NAS system, because I've got that many bad photos. So I've got to put them somewhere. Got to make sure I preserve them for whatever reason.
When you become a famous, world-renowned photographer, then you can go, look, anybody can do it. I started here, taking pictures of cows in a lawn.
Yeah. Sounds like a nice dream. I guess it's fair to say that we're maybe not beginners anymore. I mean, I know my way around a camera, and you definitely know your way around a camera. So obviously, what is one thing you wish you'd known when you first started photography? I know we've just spoken about gear, but is there anything else that you wish that you'd have known or done differently, or maybe actually done instead of what you did do?
I feel like one thing I wish I would have known to do is like shoot slowly, like actually take my time and be more intentional with my photos. I feel like I've reached that now for sure, but like back then, a photo shoot with me would be like 1,000 photos and like 3 good ones, because the majority of them are all duplicates with just like a fraction of a difference between each of them, you know? And so I think we take it for granted shooting digitally, right? Like you're only limited by your memory card. But like if you're more intentional with your photos, it makes it easier later on to go through them. And yeah.
But no, I think you're 100% right. I think I found moving from Sony, where arguably it's a better camera for taking burst photography. You could take as many photos as you want before it lagged, where Fujifilm, I mean, if you get a professional Fujifilm camera, maybe, but the more X-T5, I was going to say X-T6, X106, X106, yep. Like for me, I shoot in single shot or 3 burst shot, which like the 3 slow bursts. So there is hopefully some difference, but because they're arguably worse cameras, like you said, you take less photos, but you might have 10 photos instead of just 3 that you prefer because you've had to be more intentional with your photography.
Exactly.
Is there something that you think you've had to learn the hard way in photography that now, looking back, you could have made it far easier for yourself?
I feel like for me, it'd be how to manage my files. And I know that's kind of like,
Okay.
yeah, not exactly. It is. Well, it's related to photography. It has nothing to do with the camera.
Yeah.
But once again, this kind of ties in with me taking way too many photos back then. I also used to label all my folders park, coffee,
Right.
like literally one word titles for my folders that make no sense, no date, no reference to anything. And when I go back in time and try to look for photos, I'm like clicking through tons and tons of folders, going through everything. Yeah. And it's such a pain.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think I made the decision right from the gun that I know if I get into this, I need to make sure that I categorize things as best as possible to start with, because like you said, you're just going to type in horse and there is thousands of files of horses where it's difficult to categorize, and it's never going to be perfect. I don't think anyone's got a perfect system, but yeah, I think it is something that people don't talk about, you know, that if you get into it, you need to just start right first time. And as you move on, it'll just become a learning habit that you just gets ingrained in you. And when you do become a professional photographer, then it's easy to look back at your work. It's really nice that you've come on today. I really appreciate it, because obviously you've got a far bigger audience than I have, and I think you're probably a far better photographer than I am. So it's really nice that you've been able to come on, and I'm really grateful for it. So I just want to say thank you for your time. Hopefully it's been a fun experience for you, and hopefully it gets you back into doing some more videos, because I know I definitely would like to see some more videos of you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this was really fun.